Okay, so you want to make your business competitive on the web. Well, it's gotten a lot more complicated than the earlier days. It used to be the only thing you really could do was just make a website and put it out there, and there you go. And then came along the search engines and things like that. They started developing algorithms and methods of pushing content to the top and things like that. So now the name of the game is, how do you get your content? How do you get your site? How do you get your company to the top of where everybody's searching for? So I could break it down into like 4 different categories. You have your Google in general. We'll just talk about Google in general, how to rank on Google. Your website, content you produce, and then provider sites. So provider sites, we'll start with that. It's very simple. Provider sites are basically like Angie's List, Thumbtack, Porch, Home Advisor, Yelp, things like that. Those are provider sites. Now that, if you're a company just starting, I would say go there first. Don't do print. You can say print can be another category if you want to do print, but I would say don't do that. The reason being is you don't get no return on your investment for print, and nobody looks at print. Maybe people who just don't evolve, older people who don't know technology very well, but even that group of people is shrinking fast. So print, I highly recommend you do not use it. I did it 10 years ago when I started, and it didn't have hardly any impact, and I was tracking it, and that was 10 years ago. So I would say now it would have even a more minimal impact. So I'd say skip print. I would say we'll go to provider sites right away, get your information out on those provider sites so that they say, hey, well, we're ranking good on Google. People can find us on Google, so put your company on our site and they'll find us and we'll present you as an option. Is basically how that works for a fee. So what they do is they say, hey, we're gonna charge you this much per lead. We're gonna give you a lead as they come in. You and 2 or 3 other people may get that lead depending on what website you're going on, and it's your job to win that lead. Whether you win it or not, you're still getting charged, and so are the other people if they didn't win it, or if they did win it. So provider sites. Next is content generation. Do you have videos? Are you writing blogs? Things like that. Are you putting that out on the web for people to find? Are you producing content? Because, and this works hand in hand with Google, which is another one of them, and your website really, because on your website, you want to put your content, and on Google, you want your content to be showing up and ranking. So Google, website, and content are kind of all together. They're all attached, and the provider sites are separate. Provider sites, you can quickly get some return on your investment. Start there. Then, after that, I would create your map listing on Google, and I'll show you how Google generally works. So on Google, I've typed in locksmith tomball, okay? So I basically said what I'm looking for in the city I'm looking for. So, and this could be searched for in many different ways. Locksmith tomball TX, locksmith tomball Texas, tomball Texas locksmith. All those different variations of just those words are all ways that you can create content to rank for. But let's just start off with Google. So there's paid per click advertisement, and then there's just organic, where you show up organically. So paid per click is, you have sponsored up here, and then it says ad. So this is your sponsored, and these are your AdWords, which they both fall under your AdWords account on Google. So you'd go to your Google dashboard and say, I'm willing to spend this much money, and I want my ads to show these days from this time to this time, and I don't want to show up for these words when people search for this, but I do want to show up when people search for this term. All that stuff can be done in Google AdWords. And it takes a lot of time, and it's harder than you think to get it to where it's fine-tuned. We have a company do that for us because it takes so much time and you're always adjusting it and fine-tuning it. So you have Google, your sponsored, and your ads for your AdWords. And then you have right below that, your map listing. And your map listing is just, you go online, you say, I'm a new business, here's the name of my business, here's the address, here's the services we offer, here's our hours of operation. And then Google says, okay, good, new business, we're gonna send you to that address that you claim is yours, this PIN code, and when you receive it in the mail, go in and type it on your Google dashboard, and if it's correct, it'll activate it and you're good to go, and now you're showing up on Google Maps, okay? So provider sites right away, and your Google Maps gotta do right away, especially because your Google Map listing needs to be up so you can link it to some of these provider sites also. So Google Maps and provider sites right away is your biggest bang for your buck. And then I'd say have someone help you with the AdWords, which is your sponsored up here, and then your AdWords, which goes right there. And at the very bottom, Usually there's another ad or two here, but on this one there's not. And the reason being is that's after 5 o'clock, and a lot of service companies are not paying to be advertised anymore after 5, including us. And then I skipped over this large section. Right below map listing is this huge area right here, and that's called organic. So organically, just like organic food, it hasn't been touched. It's just straight up based off content you put out. So on your website, whatever you have in your website and whatever term someone's searching for ranks organically in some place on Google. And basically, if I typed in locksmith tomball and we're #1 organically, and that makes sense because we probably have that term in there a bunch of times, or we're the most relevant. We have a map listing in tomball. Everything points to us being in tomball, so we rank very high for that. So on Google, you have your Google account, your AdWords, your dashboard, and through your dashboard, you can control sponsored ads and AdWords. And you can even control your map listing through Google too. And then your organic, you can't directly impact this. You can, but what I mean is you have to create content that has specific terms in certain places that ranks better than other people in order to show up on there. It's a little complicated to go into that right now, but I'll kind of abbreviate it here on the board in a minute for you. So that's Google. Then you have your website, and on your website, you need to have some basic things. You need to have a home page, you need to have an About Us page, you need to have a Contact Us page. You need to have call to action buttons, read more, click, request an appointment, click, call now, click, all those kind of buttons, call to action buttons. As well as you need to have pages, individual pages for everything you do. Like if we're a locksmith company, for example, here's some services we offer. We have safes, we have access control, we have CCTV, we have residential locksmithing, we have commercial locksmithing, we have automotive, car keys, car remotes, we have emergency services. We have all kinds of stuff. Each one of those pages need a landing spot. And then we go a step further. For instance, safes. What kind of safe? Is it a gun safe? Is it a drop safe? Is it a fire rated safe? Is it a burglary rated safe? All those things you want individual pages for. Not necessarily right at the very beginning, but as you start trying to fine tune and develop that organic area that I was talking about, that's when you need to have more appropriate content and things on your website, and you need to have them broken up into different pages. Because let's say you write an article and create content, which is one of these. Say you create a blog, and your blog is about, let's just talk about floors. So say you're like, I wrote a blog about wood floors. I'm a floor company. Okay, good. So in that blog that I wrote on my website, there's a link that says wood floors is highlighted. I click on it, it goes to my wood floors page on my website. That's why you need individual pages. So when you're writing content and you're putting links that are relevant to just that page, it needs to lead just to that page. And Google sees it as, oh, I have this blog with a link for wood floors going to this page. Oh, and you have another one on this website that talks about wood floors going to that same page, and another one on that site going to the same page. Then before you know it, Google says, there's a lot of traffic going to this page. It all talks about wood floors. This is really relevant to wood floors. Push it up to the top. And that's kind of how it works. That's just the very easy abbreviation. That's called search engine optimization, or SEO, which we have someone do that for us too. We do a lot of that in-house. Actually, we do most of that in-house now. But anyway, so Google, your website, content you produce, which is videos and blogs, and you put that on your site. You put it on YouTube also, and then provider sites. So let's go ahead and go to the board, and I'll break it down a little bit more, so hopefully it makes a little bit more sense. All right, so let me break this down a little bit. I broke it down into Google, website, content, and provider sites. We're gonna start in opposite direction of the way I wrote it. Not necessarily complete opposite direction, but let's start down here real quick. Provider sites is very simple. You have stuff like Yelp. You have things like Home Advisor, which I think they changed their name to something else. You have Thumbtack, which I don't really like, but there's a place for everybody. And then you have, after Thumbtack, let's see, you have like Angie's List, for instance. Okay, now all of them have different methods and different ways of billing you for leads, but basically what this is you say, here's some money. When you get the leads, bill me at this much per lead, and whether I get it or not, I'm still getting charged for that. So let's just go down this real quick. So Yelp, there's free listings on there, and you can get a lot from that free listing. And then you can pay some fees and then get unlimited leads through them a month, based off whatever traffic they get in. So you can pay for leads on it, and you also get free on Yelp. Home Advisor, it's only pay. So you have to pay for every single lead you get, whether you get the job or not. Thumbtack, I think, uses some kind of like coin system where you pay for so many coins and you use a coin or something along those lines. I didn't really like it, so I didn't do it. And then Angie's List I also didn't like, so I didn't do that one either. It's kind of the same thing as like a Home Advisor is. So anyway, so that's kind of your provider site. So that's the quickest, easiest way to do it. You put it on someone else's site. They've already done all the work, all the search engine optimization, all the Google AdWords and everything to show up at the top. And you're just saying, hey, put me on your site, please, because you guys are already at the top. And they go, and they put you into their company. So that's how you get how these are so effective, because they have huge budgets for AdWords and things like that. You could search like locksmith in Houston, Texas, and you'll see like Home Advisor, look for a locksmith here. And that's because they're advertising to get to the top. You click on it, they get charged, and then you go on their site and you say, okay, I need someone for this and this. Then they bill 3 different companies, and then it's up to them to get the job. So that's a quick, easy way to do it. Like I said earlier, don't do print. It didn't work 10 years ago when I did it, and it's definitely not gonna work now. This is content. This is more like content, just creating content is what I wanna make sure I put on here, creating content. But let's talk about your website. So on your website, you want landing pages, okay? You need to have, your home, contact us, about us, services, a general services page, right? And then under that, all your different types of services, a page for each one of those. And then on your website, you're also gonna want call to action, okay? Buttons like call now, right? Things like that. You click on that and it calls, or puts your phone number up and then you hit call. Landing pages, call to action. You wanna have location pages, especially when you start fine tuning your online game. When you start saying, I'm gonna write this blog article, and in this blog article, I'm gonna say Locksmith, Tomball, Texas, Spring, Texas, or whatever cities are near you, Chicago, Illinois, Chicago Locksmith, or Chicago AC Company, whatever it is. The only way you're gonna show up besides for what you paid for to be at the top organically is gonna be by having pages with that appropriate content on it that ranks better than anybody else out there that's doing it. So, and the only way you get better at ranking it is by creating relative content. So your website needs to be laid out right. It also needs to be, what do you call that? I'm trying to think, there's a name for it. I can't remember what it's called. It's progressive or something like that. I'll think of it here in a minute. Anyway, so on your website, you wanna have all your landing pages, you wanna have call to action buttons, your location pages, and if you are producing content down here, you wanna be able to put that content on like a blog page or a video page or something like that where you can put your new content up. Now, under content, you have, your videos you can make, you can write blogs, but you wanna put these on your website, but also you wanna put these for sure on like YouTube and create a YouTube channel, right? That's how you can you create content, and then those content, you put it on your pages on your website, or you put it on YouTube, or you link it to different pages, things like that. Maybe in another video, we'll go in a little bit more in depth in some of these, but right now I'm just kind of hitting on all the general areas just to kind of give you an overview of everything. So content is the main thing, because what is Google? They're a content provider. They give you content. You say, I want to see funny animal videos. And they say, cool, here's funny animal videos. Oh, well, I meant funny lion videos. Okay, well, here's exactly what ranks for that. Check that out. So there's algorithms for all that, and people have to work very hard to show up for those videos. And those views, you get enough views going on, then you're drawing enough attention to yourself, and then you can get monetized and start making money on these things, which takes a long time and a lot of work, but that's the long game. That's why if it was easy, everybody would do it. But it's not easy, so most people don't do it. Now on Google, you have your sponsored, which we went over at the very top. Sponsored. And then you have your AdWords, which they're kind of together actually. Then you have your map listing, which I showed you a minute ago. And organic. Okay. So when everybody goes to, if you're going, first of all, you want to know where to show up, right? Well, where's everybody going? They're going to either Google or Bing or something like that. I would say you can worry about Bing later. Bing's going to pick up on the stuff you're doing anyway, but Google's what you really need to worry about. And there's many different tools and add-ons and applications you could add on to things when you're doing that'll tell you how to label things, what keywords to put in what, what to link to what hashtags to use. This is not an easy game. You're not gonna learn everything from this video. I'm gonna just pique your interest with this video, and then you're gonna have to do some research if you really wanna implement it. So on Google, you have, through your dashboard, you can do these sponsored and AdWords. These are paid per click, okay? Paid per click. Map listing is free, okay? And the way that you increase the quality of your map listing and the visibility of your map listing, first of all, optimize it. Go in there and fill out everything. If it says you want to add pictures, add pictures. If it says you want to put your hours in, put your hours in. If it said, are you affiliated with anybody? Put who you're affiliated with in. Fill everything out. And it's very important that as you move and you change locations and things, that you keep that information updated on everything. You see one spot online that your address isn't correct, you track down that website, you change it, you say, this is my correct address. Because when Google goes out to search and they say, okay, Guardian Safe and Lock, well, they have 3 different addresses and this one hour says it's open, this and that. This is too jumbled, that's not good quality, put that down at the bottom. This is good quality, this guy has all his stuff in order, put that to the top. That's how it works. It's a competition. Who can do it better? And Google will take who's the best and present it to the top. In a minute, at the very end, I'm gonna show you what it looks like when you hit a home run on something, because we've done it with one of ours, some of our content. And when you hit a home run with something, you can really reap the benefits of it. So on Google, you have your pay-per-click, you have your map listing that's free, and then you have your organic, which is free, question mark? Like, it's not free, but once it's done, it's done. So it's not free to pay someone to write the articles. It's not free in time to develop all the content, but it is free as in once it's out there, you're not paying per click, you're not paying for anything, it's just out there. Now, your content, you may be ranking high for something, but then another company like me comes along and starts writing more relevant content, newer content, and then you get down and we go up. So you always have to be creating content. It never ends. That's why we're doing these videos. You always have to be producing content. That's the name of the game. Who produces the most content? And as Google, they're saying, who's gonna give me the most content and the best content, and I'm gonna put you at the top because we wanna give our customers the best experience possible. So that's what their goal is. So Google, website, content creation, provider sites. I had something here I wanted to show you. Let me pull this out real quick because I had taken a picture of this and wanted to touch on something here. Okay, so yeah, I'll show this here real quick. Oh, and then I wanted to also talk about social media, which is basically, it's not content, but your content goes on it. So I'm gonna put over here on the side, social media, okay? Now, social media can be our fifth. So on social media, you need to be for sure on Facebook, because all these play into your listings, into your organic listings, of how Google sees you. Are you on everything, and is all your information accurate across the board? Because if you are, you're gonna rank higher. So Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, Parler, right? YouTube, I guess is, yeah, well, we'll leave that one out. So there's your social medias, right? So you need to be posting on those every day also. And then through that content you're producing on social media, you need to have the appropriate hashtags also. Okay, so on these here, we do 2 posts a day on all these, except for Parler right now, but we will eventually on Parler. So you need to do 2 posts a day on all those. That's my suggestion. We have 2 social media posts that go out every day across all four platforms. And there's software and applications that you can get that where you can make 1 post, and that 1 post automatically schedules and shoots out to all your platforms. So there's many different softwares that do that. So you have your Google, website, content, provider sites, and social media. And all these things, I mean, there's a game to each one of these. So just under your social media, there's appropriate, what hashtags, right? What hashtags are going out? What quality of pictures and content, and what consistency are you doing it on? All those things matter. So you need to be hitting on social media. You need to be hitting on your AdWords and sponsored ads through Google. Have a map listing. Your organic's going to come along with everything you do. That's not something you can just target and do without doing some research and maybe hiring a professional to talk to first. Your website, creating content and videos and blogs, and those videos and blogs need to be titled to certain things. They need to have certain keywords in them. They need to link to certain websites or places. And then you have your provider sites and social media. So all these are necessary, and really to compete at the highest level, you need to be doing all of these things. And are we doing all these things? Yes, we are. So say you want to rank higher for like safes, and you're in Chicago. Well, then you need to write blogs, based off safes with the keyword safes and Chicago in there. And you need to link those to maybe your landing page for Chicago on your website. You have a Chicago and then some other local city pages on there. So all these things are intertwined. You could even look into some popular people on the web, like Neil Patel. He's a great example. Neil Patel, he's pretty good on search engine optimization. He even has some free little plugins and some apps on his site that you can do some things. They'll give you some free information. Some of it's not free, but you can check him out. Anyway, all these things is what it takes to be competitive on the web. And all of them have their own little formulas and algorithms and ways to do it. It's gonna take research, but the coolest thing is right now, there's more information than ever on the web. You can learn literally about everything and not have to spend too much time doing it either. So one more thing I had here for you. Let me see if I had that note there. Nope, didn't have it on. Thought I had it there. Okay. All right. So, and as you put out content, as you start ranking for it, you can't take your foot off the gas, because eventually someone's going to start pumping out content too. And yours is like, oh, well, this is 4-year-old content. And here comes fresh content. See you later. Right? And organically, you're going to go up or go down based off what's happening. So all these things are intertwined. But let me show you, for instance, what happens when you really hit a home run on it. So we made a video, and we did our research on it. We made a video of a certain term way that we wanted to say this so that we could show up. We did research and found out how many people were searching for it. It looked like a ton of people were searching for it. So we said, let's go ahead and make a video on this subject. And let me show you what happens whenever you hit what we call a home run. All right, so I'm gonna show you what it looks like when you hit what we call a home run. And then real quick before I do that, search engine optimization, which is SEO, S-E-O, search engine optimization. That is in my opinion, has the biggest impact, but it's also the biggest investment, and I like to refer to it as the long game, because it's gonna take longer than anything else to do. It took about 1.5 years of us doing search engine optimization and thousands of dollars in time and hours of investment to even start reaping the smallest reward. But when we did, it started doubling, snowballing, and we keep producing more and more content and tweaking this and adding this and doing research and printing reports and saying, okay, we were ranking for this term at this place, now we're ranking here. We need to increase, there's 1,000 searches for this term every month. There's 2,200 searches for this term every month. Let's focus on this one. Let's write appropriate content that has these appropriate terms in it so that we can rank higher for it. As you can see, it gets crazy. So I'm just giving you a little taste of it. But we did a video. Let's just type in key stuck in lock. And you see what's right there, right? 115 million results. Look who's right here at the very top. And that's no matter where you search. You can be in Australia, key stuck in lock, boom, that's number one. The reason being is this is the most relevant video to that exact term in the world. So key stuck in lock, we made this video. It's our YouTube channel. So Google will take any information out there and anything you have and rank it and push it to the top if it's relevant enough. So key stuck in lock right here, I can go and click on it, and this hasn't been out for more than probably, here, I'll go to our actual channel and find out exactly how long it's been there. I'm going to our channel right now, and it's very easy. I can just sort by most popular, key stuck and lock. We have over 58,000 views on it, and that's in 6 months. And we're not even monetized yet. Can you imagine if we were monetized and we had a huge following? So we only have 863 subscribers, which you need 1,000 plus 4,000 watch hours to get monetized on YouTube. So that video has over 58,000 views, and it's only been 6 months. That's huge. And we rank #1 for that. So anytime anybody ever searches it, they say, boom, here's a video. Oh, play. Now they're going to our YouTube channel. Oh, great, this guy puts out good content. Subscribe, right? And the goal is to get enough subscribers so that you can get money and get monetized. So everything's all intertwined. You have a spider web of information, and you may have, say, just to make it simple, you have a Houston locksmith page, and you have an article you wrote on Houston locksmith services, and then you have a video on Houston locksmith services, and then a couple months later you talk about locksmiths in Houston in a different way, and all those articles need to have the appropriate terms in it with links, linking, saying this term Houston locksmith in my article that I wrote is now a link. I made it a link, and you click on it, it goes to my Houston landing page on my website. You don't want to create multiple pages. You don't want to have Houston locksmith on this page going to your services page, and then on your other blog article you have it going to your Houston page, and then another one you have it going to a video. You need to have anything related to those terms all going to one page, because you don't want your pages trying to compete with each other. Then you're fighting yourself. So there's many softwares that do this, and they're very expensive, and there's a lot of people that help you with this, and it's also very expensive. SEO is the most expensive, highest reward, but it's the long game. It's the highest investment. You're gonna spend a lot of time, year and a half probably. You're not gonna get much out of it if you do it right too. So you have to do it very well for a good amount of period of time before you see any results. But once you get that behind you and you get that snowball rolling, there's no stopping you if you keep your foot on the gas. And that's kind of where we're just about getting. So anyway, hopefully this helps you with your endeavor to compete online. It's a crazy world out there now. It's way different. The algorithms change all the time. We check up, we get new updates and say, okay, wow, based off the new algorithm, this isn't gonna work anymore. We can't be doing this and that. They stopped that. Now they care about this. And then you have to make your adjustment from there. So anyway, if you have any questions, leave them in the comments. Maybe we'll get in there and answer them for you, give you some more information if we can, point you in the right direction. We appreciate you tuning in as always, and hopefully you enjoyed this content. Hopefully it helps you. There's so much to cover in it. I wish I can go in more detail on each of these, but without like writing it all down and just reading it to you and making sure I don't miss anything, it's a lot to cover. So please hit the subscribe button. Please hit the like icon and the bell notification thing too. Please, if you can turn that on, you'll get notifications every time we put out new content. Don't forget to follow us on LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, all the social media platforms I talked about. We're on all of them. So please follow us where you can, and we appreciate the support as always.